Hey, we're here today to have a story. And I brought my little puppet friends along because sometimes that helps me tell a story. Today's story is about three little pigs and some of the problems that they had. So, are you in the mood to hear a story? We're in the mood to hear a story. Use imagination and make connections. Once upon a time, there was a mother pig who had three little pigs. The oldest pig's name was Dirty because he loved to roll around in the mud all day long. And his mother thought, one day that rolling around in the mud is going to get him into trouble. The middle pig's name was Greedy. She was always thinking about food. And when the farm girl would come with the food for the pigs, she would get up on her back legs and dance around and prance around, and then she'd run for the trough and push all the other pigs out of the way so that she could get the biggest and best pieces. And her mother thought, one day her greediness is going to get her in a lot of trouble. Well, the youngest pig's name was Smarty, and he was always making wise choices for a pig. And Mother would be so proud because sometimes the farmer's friends would say, "Ooh, someday that's going to be a prize-winning pig." Well, as time went on, Mother got very old, and Mother knew that she wasn't going to live much longer. So she called all of her children together and said to them, "I am getting very old and very feeble, and I don't think I will be living much longer. So I want to do something for each of you, because when I am gone, another family of pigs is going to come and live in this pigsty, and so you guys will have to move out. So what I would like to do is I would like to build each of you a house." So, Dirty, what type of house would you like me to have built for you? Dirty right away said, a house of mud and straw to hold it together. Oh, okay, Dirty, if that's what you want. She just disgusted, and she turned to Greedy and she said, "Greedy, what type of house would you like to have?" And all the time thinking, Dirty, you've picked the wrong thing. And then Greedy said, "Oh, I would like a house built of twigs, fruit tree twigs, with the fruit still on them, so when I got hungry, I could just go pick some fruit off the twigs." Oh, Greedy, one day you are going to be sorry that you were so greedy and always grubbing around. Well, then she turned to Smarty and she said, "Smarty, what type of house would you like to have?" "Oh, Mother, I would like to have a house of bricks, please, because it would be warm in the winter and cool in the summertime, and safe all year round." Oh, Smarty, you are so wise. And so the mother pig had the three houses built. And then she said, "Oh, my end is very near. I have one more thing I have to tell you. When I am gone, our enemy, the wolf, is going to come and try to get you. And so I want you to be very, very wise about his cunning ways. He will try to disguise himself to get into your houses." Oh, we will, Mother. We will be very, very careful. And soon afterwards the mother died, and the three little pigs went to live in their houses. Well, Dirty had a mess in the middle of his house right away, and he was wallowing around in the middle of his house in the mud when a knock came on the door. And he was a little startled because there was a very, very nice voice coming from the other side that said, "Oh, Master Dirty, I have come to visit you and see your new house. Please let me in." And Dirty thought, "Ooh, that doesn't sound right. I bet that's the wolf." "Oh, I don't think that you are my friend. I think you are my enemy, the wolf that my mother warned me about. Oh, go away." And the wolf said, "Oh, you won't let me in. We will soon see who the master is." And he said all that in his mean voice. And then he started to paw at the house, and it started to give way. The more he dug at it with his paw, the more the house gave way, and before long the wolf was inside the house and grabbed Dirty and slung him over his shoulder and took him off to his den. Because the wolf had it in his mind that he was going to keep him and go get Greedy. And so off he went to Greedy's house. Well, Greedy was walking around nibbling at all the different fruits that were hanging around her house, and all of a sudden she heard a knock, knock, knock at the door. And a sweet voice that the wolf was able to make came from outside. "Oh, miss, I have come to visit you in your new house and to have some apples for dinner. I think I will pick some." "Oh, no, no, don't pick any of my apples," she said. "They are twigs that hold my house together, and if you pull the twigs out, my house will fall apart." And the wolf says, "Then it shall be done." And he pulled at the twigs, and it didn't take much to pull the twigs out. And before long, he had a hole, and there inside was whimpering little Greedy. "Don't take me, don't take me." And off he took her to the den. Well, he was going to save those two pigs in his den and go get Smarty, because he had it in his mind that he would take and get all three of the little pigs and cook them all up at one time and invite all of his friends for a nice little feast of pig. So off he went to get Smarty, and he came to Smarty's house, and he saw the door was all bolted and barred, and he knocked at the door and he said, "Oh, Master Smarty, I've come to visit you." And Smarty says, "I know you have not come to visit me. You have come to take me like you took Dirty and Greedy off to your den. Well, you are not going to get me." And the wolf says, "Well, we will see about that." And he started to dig at the house with his paws, but he couldn't dig through those bricks. It was too hard, and before long his paws were all sore and bleeding. And then he was really angry, and he says, "Oh, you just wait. I will be back, and I will get you. You will have to come out of there sometime, and when you do, I will be there to get you." Well, it's true. Smarty did have to come out of his house, because he had to go to market one day. He needed a great big kettle to do some cooking. And he went to the market and he found a kettle, a wonderful kettle with a spout and a lid. And he started walking home with it flung over his shoulder, when he heard footsteps behind him. And he thought, "Oh, that must be the wolf. The wolf is following me. What am I going to do?" And Smarty got very, very worried. And then he looked at his kettle. His kettle was very big, and he was at the top of the hill, and he could see his house down at the bottom, nestled in the woods. And he thought, oh, I have a way to do it. And so Smarty crawled inside the kettle and he pulled the lid on behind him. And then inside, he gave it a little kick with his foot, and the kettle started to roll down the hill. And it rolled faster and faster and faster. And when the wolf came to the top of the hill, he looked down and all he saw was a kettle rolling down. And it rolled right to the Smarty's door. And the lid was kicked off, and the wolf was watching this, and he saw Smarty jump out and run inside the house with his kettle and lock and bolt the door. Oh, the wolf was very mad, and he came running down to the house, and he prowled around the house looking for a way to get in or to get up to the roof, and he finally found a way. And when he crawled up on the roof of the house, but he didn't know that Smarty was inside, filling the kettle with water and putting it on the fire and waiting for it to boil. And all of a sudden, here come the wolf down the chimney. Smarty could see his paws coming down and his eyes and his nose sticking out. But just as he did, the water started to boil, and the wolf lost his grip in the chimney and fell into the scalding water. And when he did, Smarty hurried up and put the lid on top of the kettle and locked him in there. And then he waited until he was absolutely sure that the wolf, his enemy, was gone and dead. And he went and unlocked and bolted the door and ran to the den, to the wolf's den, where Smarty and where Greedy and Dirty were tied up to a stake inside the den. And he could hear them whimpering and crying on the inside. And they were so scared when they heard somebody coming in. And when they saw it was Smarty, they were so relieved, and he found a really sharp rock and cut them loose. And they all went back to live in Smarty's house. And from that day on, Dirty really didn't care to be dirty all the time. And Greedy, she realized that being greedy was not right. They both saw how their wants, their greedy little wanting of their way, led them to almost their very, very short life. And so together they shared and took care of the wonderful brick house that Smarty had built. And they lived happily ever after. And that's the story of the 3 little pigs. I'm just wild about stories and illustrating them too. So goodbye for now, and I'll be back again. We'll be back again. You'll be back again soon.